Welcome to our weekly program, The Inside Story of Chabad in America through the Mindel Archives. This is the fourth program that it's a hemshech, it's a continuation. We started the first program and then we spoke about the delegation. We spoke about the Satmar Rebbe. We spoke about what we bring between other Chassidim. And I think that you should definitely look at the last three programs in order to understand this, because we're now in the middle of the delegation that came into the Rebbe and Yechidus in the early years. And I said last week the names who was there. And now I'm going to begin saying how the Yechidus started. The Kloisenberger delegation, they came in, and the Rebbe began saying that one needs to start with Gashmiyas first, then Ruchniyas. As my father-in-law, the Rebbe said, the Frierdiker Rebbe, always used to start with Gashmiyas and then Ruchniyas. He didn't start Ruchniyas first. And he says, I'm doing the same thing. And then he said to the delegation, how is the Rebbe feeling Begashmiyas? It means the Kloisenberger Rebbe. He wasn't well. That's the first thing the Rebbe asked this group of people. So they reported about the Rebbe's physical health in details. He was very sick. And his treatment that he gets. Then the Rebbe said to the delegation, about his Ruchniyas, I'm afraid to ask. He's a holy man, I'm afraid to ask. So the Rebbe started with Gashmiyas, and then he's afraid to ask about his Ruchniyas. Then the delegation asked, in the name of the Kloisenberger Rebbe, asked the Rebbe, how is the Rebbe's health? So the Rebbe answered, when our Rumir is good, I feel good. When my surroundings are good, I feel good. That's the Rebbe answered them. Now that means, that's what I'm saying, that from here we understand that the life of a tzaddik is not his personal life. When the world around him, and especially when the chassidim of the Rebbe are doing the right thing, that gives health to the Rebbe. The Rebbe then said to them, I heard that the Kloisenberger Rebbe learns Chumash and Rashi at his public gathering. And I'm happy to hear this. The Kloisenberger Rebbe used to learn Chumash and Rashi every week, every Thursday night. And the Rebbe says he's happy to hear this. Why? Because ich koch sich in them. Remember a few programs again, Rabbi Williger said the word ich koch sich in them. He got it from the Rebbe. I am enthusiastic about learning Chumash and Rashi. And I am glad there is a Tano HaMesayeya. There's another person that helps me, that supports what I do. What does that mean? So I'll tell you. The Rebbe didn't say it. There are letters that when the Rebbe started to learn Chumash and Rashi, people complained. This is not a classroom. The Rebbe said klotz kashes, asked klotz kashes. And then sometimes the Rebbe even stopped and asked, let's say 10, 12 kashes, 12 questions, and he turns to somebody and says, no, what number are we up to? It's like a child learning, a Rebbe learning children. So the Rebbe is happy that somebody else doing the same thing. And by the way, people also complained, the Rebbe ended up bringing, whoever didn't make a bracha achreina should make a bracha achreina. Says, well, what is this? He's not talking to children. So, but the Rebbe said that there's reasons. There's letters about that which I'm not going to share today because there's no time. So the Rebbe was happy that he has a Tana Messiah. Then the Rebbe asked the delegation, can you tell me, the Rebbe said, the reason why the Kloisenberger Rebbe started to learn Chumash and Rashi. Why is that a minhag of his? So the delegation did not know the answer. So they said, after the Yechidus, we'll come, we'll find out, and we will let you know. Then the Rebbe explained why he started the custom of learning Chumash Rashi. This is an amazing. The Rebbe said like this. I wrote it down, it's all from the Rebbe. It says, the Chazal say, Chodosh min ha-Torah osur. New is prohibited by the Torah. Anything new is prohibited. This is in connection with new grain. We are not permitted to use new grain until we bring the Omer. It's osur until we bring the Omer. Then you can chodosh. But chodosh minat new is osur. So the Chassam Sofer said, the Rebbe said, what does it mean chodosh minat Torah osur? Everything new in this world, any modern things that people come out, is puzzle, is osur. And the Rebbe explained, when there are new forces, evil forces, the lumazeh in this world, new styles, modern ideas, and all the time there's new things Goyim come up with, new inyanim, and unfortunately it creeps into religious Jews. We need to counteract these new things which are prohibited with new things of Kedusha. And the Rebbe said we need new ammunition to fight these new influences. As long as the forces of evil come up with new things, we also need to harness the power of holiness and come up with new things. Therefore, what the Rebbe said here, I think, the Rebbe came all the time, people were questioning, all the time with new things. Which Rebbe ever did that? Rebbe started with Mitzvah Tefillin, Mitzvah Kashrus, Mitzvah everything, Mitzvah Hadokas Haneris, Mitzvah Chumash and Rashi, Mitzvah Rambam, Mitzvah Beis Chabad, every house of Beis Chabad, and more things. Why did the Rebbe do that? Because since there's always new things in Le'umazeh, so we have to counteract in Kedusha to make more things. And that's why the Rebbe has all the time came up with new things. All the time. And this reminds me, the Rebbe used to, by Fabringen, sometimes, used to whistle with his finger. He used to put it in his mouth. And many times Rabbi said, all of Hasholim, used to point to him, he should whistle, and everybody whistled. Why? Because whistling is a goyish thing, not with a finger. Whistling. So to change, to counteract, you have to. The Rebbe made that we should whistle in a Fabringen. And I guess that's why the Rebbe sang Haderes V'Amuna in a French song, and that's when de Gaulle passed away. It's another story, because since it's so much in Klippa, we have to change it to Kedusha. Chodosh Osur Min HaTorah. Going back, what the Rebbe said, and this is why I introduced to learning Chumash Rashi. So after the Yechidus, the Rebbe said by Fabringen why he started to learn Chumash Rashi, and he chose Pshut Shel Mikra, Poshet Pshat. So the Rebbe said by Fabringen, today, I'm going to read the first things here, is a time and a timely mitzvah to bring Mashiach. So we need to elevate the Golus from the very bottom. That's why he learns Pshut Shel Mikra. Now, I'll explain to you what I mean. There are 4 parts in Torah. Pshat, that is the lowest. Remes, hint, that is the second lowest. Drush, third, and then Soid, Kabbalah, that's fourth. In worlds, there are also 4 worlds. Atzilus is the highest world. Bria is the lower, little lower. Then Yitziro, and then the world of Asiya, our world. We are now in Olam Asiya. So we need to elevate the Golus from the bottom. The very bottom being the lowest of the 4 worlds, Asiya, which we are in. Our world is the Asiya. So the lowest of the 4 worlds, which needs the greatest effort to elevate, because Shechinta begaluso. The Shechina is also in Golus. The Shechina sunk here by us. In this low world, Golus. So we can elevate the lowest place, Asiya, through the Olam HaPshat. Because Pshat is the lowest in the four Chelkei of Torah. That's why the Rebbe started Pshuta Shel Mikra. In other words, Pshat is the lowest, so it's the lowest will elevate the lowest. And this is why the Rebbe says, Ich koch sich in them. I am enthusiastic about learning Pshuta. That's why he started. And not only that Pshuta even to a Ish Poshut, not only the world, but even to a plain person will also be able to understand. And it needs to be taught in a simple way, Pshat. And the Rebbe mentioned that Pshute, it says, Pshute Shel Mikra, Mevi Geula L'Olam HaAsiya. That brings Geula, redemption to Olam HaAsiya. And this is what the Rebbe said he started. The Rebbe also asked the delegation, when does the Kloisenberger Rebbe say his Drosha Shabbos? Before Kriyas HaTorah? Before reading the Torah or after reading the Torah? So they answered before Kriyas HaTorah. So the Rebbe said, why? Torah Shebeksav should come first. The Torah, reading the Torah, is called Torah Shebeksav. By him it's called Torah Shebal Peh. The Drosha is Torah Shebal Peh. So it should be better not. So they said they'll get back to him, to the Rebbe. So the Rebbe is waiting for them for 2 questions. One question is why he started Bechlal learning Chumash and Rashi, the Kloisenberger Rebbe. Another thing, why he speaks his drasha before reading the Sefer Torah. So they didn't get back to him right away. It was only after some time that when the Rebbe was waiting for an answer, the Rebbe didn't have an answer. So they went to Rabbi Williger and they said the Rebbe needs to know an answer. So it was then finally that they conveyed the answer to the Rebbe. And Rabbi Williger said at that time, he says, I'm sorry, I knew the answer before, but I wasn't in a hurry to give the answer. But us Chassidim Kloisenberger are not like Chassidim of Chabad, he said. You are soldiers. You do things immediately as soon as the Rebbe asks, with zrizus. But we had the answer, but we didn't run to give you an answer immediately. And we're sorry. And they said that they spoke to the Kloisenberger Rebbe, why he speaks before Kriyas HaTorah, because that's his custom of his Zaydis, used to speak. And the problem of Torah Shebeksav should be before Torah Shebal Peh. He says that always the Kloisenberger Rebbe used to speak a drosha. Always he said a pasuk first. The whole pasuk he said. So he does Torah Shebeksav first. And the answer of Chumash Rashi, why he started in public, that he says that's a technical thing. This is what they answered him. This is what it is. So this is the Yechidus, it's an amazing Yechidus. There's much more to talk, but we have no time today. Now, since today, I guess is our last program before Rosh Hashanah, so I want to wish to all my listeners a Ksiva V'Chsimet Teva, Lashona Teva Mesuka, And all the brachas that should be mekuyim, the brachas from Aleph till Tov should be mekuyim. And since we're getting now the new year, we're getting into Shnas Hakel, a gathering. So the Rebbe should help that we should be united with other Chassidim, united with the world, with all Yidden, we should united. And this was the last Farbringen, Vayakel, that the Rebbe mentioned two things, Doke and Avas Yisrael. Okay, that's what the last Vayakel the Rebbe spoke. And since we are getting into this year, so we should all be Be'achdus, and we sure when we come Be'achdus, we have Derech Eretz Bein Odom Lachaveirei. Also we do things between a Yid and the Eibishter, and then for sure that Mashiach will come Tekef Umiyad Mamesh B'Geula Hamitis V'Hashlimo, and everybody have a good Yontif.